All right, hey, before we get into today's interview episode, we want to talk about our friends at Miller Lite. From defending your favorite team after a bad loss to obsessively checking your fantasy lineups, football fandom is bigger than just Sundays. Miller Lite knows the passion that comes with rooting for your team. Like the debate that sparked the 1975, great taste versus less filling. Weekend Miller's on the horizon for you, Chief.
Oh yeah, we got a full weekend. Wish Fest. They'll be flowing at the Salt Shed. I will be enjoying Miller Lites. I
have my 20-year grammar school football championship reunion on Friday or tonight, and I'm excited. We got a domestic drink package, so I'm going to be putting them back with the boys.
There you go.
Make your game time taste like Miller time. Tastes great and less filling. Let it be both to get Miller Lite delivered right to your door. Visit MillerLite.com/midshow, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Just make sure you celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer. All right, so here we are, another interview episode, I should say. Excuse me. We have two guests today. We have Max Strus and Aaron Rowand. We're kicking it off first with Max Strus. Max, friend of the program at this point. You've been on a couple times, so just going to keep it lighthearted. But I guess I'll lead off with, you can't have Mobley and Allen. Obviously, everyone's talking about it. Who you trading if you're the GM?
That's crazy. No, we're definitely keeping both.
Hey, looks like it's working out.
Yeah. It's working out pretty well for the team right now.
What, 8-0 is good?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Now, is there anything that worries you about when you come back, when you do back around New Year's, right?
Oh, I hope not.
But are you worried about throwing off team chemistry? I mean, 8-0.
8-0, yeah, honestly. Yeah. I mean, shit, if we're getting rid of somebody, it's probably going to be me.
Yeah. Dude, some people, I was told 8 weeks for my ankle injury, and I actually just never came back. I never played anything ever again. Now I'm fat, so watch out for that too.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, I might do that too as long as my check.
Yeah, it's guaranteed contract, the NBA, right? Yeah.
Wait, we need to go back to White Sox Dave saying New Year's, and then Max being like, "Wait, what? I hope." Well, how did you get his diagnosis?
It was 6 weeks. I read 6 weeks from the beginning of the season. I was just doing some math. So
6 weeks is Thanksgiving.
I was doing it from November 1st. I was doing it from November 1st, so right around then.
Solid math.
But the NBA doesn't count to me until Christmas, anyways.
Yeah, so really,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm just waiting.
Yeah.
I'm just taking off and coming back.
So in reality, according to White Sox Dave, the Cavs are just 0-0.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
So, what are the Bulls though? Are the Bulls
0-0? Everyone's 0-0. Yeah.
This is all preseason right now. So nice, cute little 8-0 record.
So you guys got us there.
Don't lump us in with them. They're them. We're not in us with the Bulls. I wore this hat by accident.
You guys are Chicago. So what are you, Cavs fans then? I gotta bring.
Yeah, I'm a Max Strus guy.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not until you take me out to dinner, like we talked about at NASCAR a couple of years ago.
I'm with that.
All right.
Okay. I do owe you guys a dinner. I told you I would do that.
Actually, I got a table at Bavette's tomorrow, and my 3 high school buddies that I was going to go with just bailed. So 1, 2, 3. Just saying.
Let me see if I get the private jet for tonight and get on over.
That's an expensive meal.
So what's new? I see the White Sox hat. Obviously, do you want to start there? Do you want to get into a little bit? Do you have some steam to blow off?
You guys got Aaron Rowand on the show today? That's big time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, Chicago sports not looking too great right now. Bears, White Sox are my teams that I'd say are my pride and joy, and haven't been too prideful with either one of those. Dave, are you just off the tribe now? Or are you just
No, I don't wear their merch in public anymore because I feel like it's. I don't want to start conversation. If people see the White Sox hat, then they're like, oh, man. They either apologize to me or they're like, you guys suck. I just don't want to incite that. So I don't wear anything White Sox related ever anymore.
Oh, man.
At all.
But your face is basically White Sox related at this point.
Yeah, I blend in with those people very well, I would say, but they gross me out. They make me sick, and I'm just biding time until this regime is gonzo. So,
are we not happy with the new manager? I don't know anything about him.
I just don't he was like a solid player for a long time. Total, like he's the type of guy, like it doesn't matter the sport. Like he was in a clubhouse, knows how a clubhouse should function, and by all account, like his resume is fantastic. He turned down the Mets last year for their managerial opening, but like it doesn't matter because the White Sox are the White Sox, and they don't.
It's deeper than just
it's deeper than the manager, right? So so I'm biding time.
Hopefully we'll figure it out one of these days, maybe a couple years from now. But we keep saying that. We'll keep our hopes up.
It's all you could do. It's literally all you could do.
Just wait.
It literally cannot get much worse, though. I mean, we're the worst.
See, you say that. The GM meetings just started today in Vegas, I believe, and they're already talking about shipping Crochet out, and they're not signing anybody. You know that because they've said that very publicly. So they actually could be worse than the worst team in history again.
We're going to get rid of our best player and not sign anybody else. Nice. Yeah, that worked back in 2016 when you tried it, 2012 when you tried it, then 2008 when you tried it after the World Series run.
Maybe if you guys bought more tickets, they'd have more money to spend on free agents.
Well, that's a good point. You got to keep your best players. So speaking of that, Max, once again, Mobley or Allen, who are you keeping?
You're not going to stop, boss.
I'm sorry. That second time was too much.
Come on, let's keep talking about miserable Chicago sports.
Okay. We can do that. We can do that for a long time.
This is what you guys do all day, though. So if you want to switch it up, we can talk Cleveland sports. I mean, things are going.
How lucky do you feel that you signed there and not here?
Yeah, I'm very happy about it.
Yeah, I bet.
Very, very happy.
Yeah, good for you.
Although I will say, your city now, where you live, they are definitely more unhappy with their football team than we are with ours. So
100%. The Browns are like, that's Cleveland's like heart and soul. I mean, we're like 2A, 2B with the Guardians, but like the Browns are like 1A, 1B, 1C. Like everybody here is like Browns diehards. I mean, and it's just like Chicago gets miserable when we're bad. Like this town is like takes it hard when the Browns lose. I mean, it's rough.
Do you feel like an energy in the city, like trying to gravitate towards you guys because you're off to such a great start while the Browns are terrible?
Yeah, it's actually awesome for us. So people are locked into the basketball season. Everybody's completely given up on the Browns.
Yeah.
So people are coming to our games. I mean, we sell out damn near every game from what I understand. So it's a pretty electric atmosphere. Cleveland's great.
Playing there, is there like a ghost of LeBron aura there still, or what's that like?
There's definitely something. Yes, I don't know if it's like a ghost, but he's always, the name's always ringing. Like it's always somewhere. Like LeBron's got his hands on everything here in one way or another. Yeah. I mean, the guy, what he did for this city alone. I mean, it's you can never match that. So he's always going to be relevant here.
Having lived in both Cleveland and Chicago, what do you think, and take away the 85 Bears, none of us were alive for that, but if the Browns or Bears won a Super Bowl, what city would it mean more to? The Bears, Cleveland, or Bears fans?
Put them in a tough spot.
Yeah.
That is tough.
And if it's Cleveland, it's Cleveland.
Honestly, it might, just like based on like the size of Cleveland alone, I think Chicago is like too big of a city for it to really like if the Browns won a Super Bowl, like I think the city legit would probably burn down. Like Cleveland, it would just be like madness.
Yeah.
Nonstop. I mean, look at like the parade that they had for the Cavs when they won. Like it was like the biggest parade in history. Like if the Browns won, it'd be like double that, and it would just not go well for anybody.
And the Browns have never even been to a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Not in their history. They had Jim Brown, nothing.
No, so that was before the Super Bowl era.
Okay.
So I think Jim Brown had become an actor at that point.
Yeah.
So
oh shit.
Yeah. So they've never even been, and they had like Heartache in the '80s, and they've been basically terrible for my entire life. So.
Yeah. I think just like the size of the city just has it. I mean, Cleveland being like a smaller city, it would just.
Yeah, and through like all of our lives, you at least you had the Bulls run. Obviously, you were much younger for that, if you even remember that. Then the White Sox in 05, the Cubs, and then the Blackhawks run. So there has been success. Obviously, Cleveland had their titles with LeBron, but yeah, I can see why it'd be insanely important for Browns fans.
Have you been to Putin Bay yet?
That's a great question.
No, I've heard great things though.
Oh, can we load the car and can we go? Can we get the boys from Payless? Instead of the dinner, I'll go to Putin Bay. That would be a great boys trip.
That sounds like
it is the trashiest fun I've ever had in my entire life, and I never ever want to go back. Ever.
I want to go back.
He goes back every year.
Yeah.
Like
Sounds
a
about right.
scumbag.
I would love to go. Get on a little pontoon boat out there.
Yeah.
What have you heard about it?
I mean, what Dave said is pretty close to what I've heard about it. But I've just heard it's a great time. I mean, it's like one of those Vegas things. Like what happens in Putin Bay stays in Putin Bay.
You're right.
Exactly what I've heard. So, but no, I haven't got the full experience yet.
Dude, it's awesome. It's the best. Everyone's just driving around golf carts. There's really nowhere to go because you're just on one island, so you just drink all day.
Yeah.
The only thing to eat on the entire island is a Subway that's in their little motel.
See, that's not true.
It basically is.
No.
Sounds like it could be true.
Don't go to Putin Bay with Dave. I will show you. I'm the tour guide. I will be your liaison. There are more places than Subway.
Yeah, they gotta have like some like drive-up bars on the boat or something like that, right? Or
yeah, it's there is boats, but from what I've seen, it's not like crazy boat island, like because this is not how it is. Like everyone gets on the ferry, you get off the ferry, and then you just kind of walk and
You're just
yeah, you take a ferry there, so it's a legit.
I knew you took a ferry. I just thought it was like a boat, like lake town type of thing, like get on the water, but it's not, huh?
No,
not really. No,
you don't even.
Wow.
I didn't even really see the water often when I went.
No,
Yeah. So it sounds like once you're there, like you're committed. You're trapped. Yeah.
The line, because you take the ferry off the island too, but you're driving your car onto this big ass boat.
if you want to, there's two boats.
And you're sitting in your car on a boat, and the line getting off the island is like an hour and a half, and it's the worst hangover of your life, and it's the middle of summer, so it's 1,000 degrees. That was bad. The scaries that are born from
you might have just unsold me on that.
Don't listen to Dave.
No, but everything that leads up to it, incredibly fun. I'm just too old and like I can't hang anymore.
What's your favorite spot to go with your buddies?
Forward.
You're talking in Cleveland?
No, just in general. Like if you and the guys are getting together from high school or whatever, where do you guys like to go?
I got a house like near New Buffalo.
Oh, nice.
So that's a once a summer thing with all my buddies. We go up there for a weekend and have a good time. I'm a little north of New Buffalo, but still close enough to go to all those places around there and do those activities. You guys ever been there?
Oh yeah. It's awesome. Was that a post big contract purchase?
No, that was actually before I even that was when I was on a two-way still.
Oh, so that was reckless.
That was I got in
I better make it, otherwise I'm losing this place.
I might have to put you in touch with my financial advisor if you're making decisions like that.
Actually, I kind of like that move. I think I'm gonna buy.
There you go. That should tell you everything.
House that is completely outside of my means, and when it'll just force me to make more money, so I can't afford it. Right?
Yeah. That's why Max put up all those jumpers after the two-way. He's like, I got to pay for this house in Buffalo. Yeah,
exactly. It's my motivation, my singular motivation.
Right.
So you are a GIMP right now. Does that mean you are going to be making it home to our favorite now fall tradition of Wish Fest this weekend?
I wish. These guys keep planning it when I'm not in town. The Wisher brothers, they keep doing me wrong. I've been asking them every year for them to move the date up so I can actually be in attendance because it's such a good time. But, what makes it even shittier this year is we play the Bulls on the 11th.
Oh, so you just missed.
Yeah, by 2 days.
I'm literally flying to Chicago on the 10th. Like I'm getting to Chicago on the 10th. And we play, if we didn't play on the 9th, I might try to make something work for me to be there. But
I'll see you guys at shoot around. Yeah.
What'd you say?
So I'm going early. I'll see you guys at shoot around. Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, how did you get involved with the Wisher Brothers? And if you want to talk a little bit about the foundation, that would be great, because we talk about it, but it's different when it comes from a Southside guy and a guy
that's
like
been
yourself.
there from the start.
Yeah.
Well, that's just it. I mean, I am from somewhat of the South Side. I mean, Southsiders probably get mad. I'm from Hickory Hills, but it's not technically South Side. But, close enough to where me and Andrew Wisher's youngest brother, Nick, who played football at Notre Dame, me and Nick grew up together playing basketball on like a travel basketball team, and been friends with the family ever since I was in 6th grade. So, got super tight with them. And then, Andrew got sick. Wow, we were on the same team, I think, in like 8th grade. I want to say it was all the way back then. And was just part of the family, basically, was around all the time. And then, going through his battle, was just always supporting. And then as soon as they started the foundation in his honor, I've been a part of it in any way I can, whether that was like volunteering my time back in high school or, just showing up, going to the events, bringing my family. But it's always been a good time. And what they do for families and, young adolescents that are battling cancer, I mean, it's the experience, at Wish Fest alone, just to see them gift the families money, that are going through tough times, and what they can do to help make a difference in their lives, and simply just put a smile on their face. Just to know that they're not alone through these times is, second to none. And, you guys have been there, you guys have witnessed it. It's a great show. It's, they usually get great artists. So it's a great performance, great time. But I think that, whatever it is, that 30-minute window of, when they're bringing up the beneficiaries on stage and, they play the video and, see how much it means to everybody to do all of this, in light of, Andrew's passing. There's really no other feeling like it. I think everybody in the building gets the chills, tears start falling, and, it just makes the night so much more special. And everybody, there kind of just feels like they have a hand in it and a part in it. Keep helping these families that are going through tough times.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like that family, and Nick and Danny. Like, I went to Danny's 30th birthday party. I think it was like last May of last summer, and it was like I think he had 3 former recipients there who were, thankfully they made it through and were able to have, a slightly better experience because of the Andrew Wisher Foundation. And then it's not like it doesn't end, because they form such a connection with these different families that it's just like while it felt like a beneficiary party at Andrew's birthday, it was great to see that he has like these genuine, real relationships. He doesn't just like cut him a check and that's the end of it. It's like, that's the start. And so it is like a full, it feels like a lifetime. Like once you're in it, you're like part of the family. So like you said,
really is. Yeah. And Wishers do a great job of making everybody feel so special too. I mean, it really is, like you say, like a family atmosphere. And I've been on, fortunate to be enough on calls where they, grant families money over Zoom or, go to their house alone and give them checks. And I've done it at my basketball camp as well. But, I mean, just the way the family, like, they just know, because they've been through it, obviously. Shitty enough, like they've been through it with Andrew, and they know what people need and what they need to hear. And, they're just truly remarkable, special people for giving back and paying it forward like they do.
Just nice people trying to help people.
Yep.
It's people help, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they took they spun an awful situation into as much of a positive that a situation like cancer could be spun into, and only
which was Andrew's wish.
Exactly.
Like
right.
That's what Andrew wanted to do, and we're in year 11 now of the event.
Over $1 million have been raised.
Yeah. So it's incredible. And look, the events. The charity's awesome. The event's going to be awesome this time too.
Yeah.
So Posner's playing. We have a guy that we like, Hans Williams, on at 4:30, and then OAR to end the night. It's OAR goes hard. They go hard. It's a party atmosphere.
OAR does. You guys sneaky one though. Wildorado, that's coming.
Okay.
I don't know if that's your guys' vibe, but if you like Hans Williams, like, you guys are gonna like Wildorado.
Okay. All right. I'm not familiar, but I'll check them out.
Wildorado's was special. They're pretty good.
Great.
Love hearing that too. But yeah, it's a loaded lineup this Saturday. And
Anyone
it's
could
not-
go, and
Yep.
I want to make that very clear. It's very family friendly.
Yeah.
This is a concert. Obviously, there's going to be food and alcohol and everything, but like bring the kids.
Yep.
Chaps
brought his family
Shay
last
brought
year.
his family last year. Bring them. Get
And
them out of the house. It's fun.
And the Salt Shed is a sweet
And that too.
venue.
It's the absolute coolest thing Chicago's done and hasn't messed up in a long time. Because like they mess up everything.
Chicago,
But this is
we just can't think nice in Chicago. It's unbelievable.
it's true. But the Salt Shed is as cool a music venue as there is on earth. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool.
except for people getting bit by bats. That's crazy. You see that?
I did see that.
But
Oh,
that's
it's a salt
outdoor.
shed?
This is indoor. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll be fine.
Ooh.
Where can people buy tickets?
If you can do it at the Andrew Wish for Forever. We could put that in the link for the YouTube and the podcast. But yeah, so it's the Wish Forever Foundation, and they'll have they hit you in the face with the links once you're up there. So there's still a few tickets left. So make sure you guys are checking it out, and we'll all be there. Or Dave and I will for sure be there.
Yeah,
I think that's out of town.
definitely. Lance will be there. Bunch of us
Saturday.
aside.
Yeah, big Barstool
Yeah.
presence. So
Right. Yeah.
We'll drink the Miller Lights that you would have had.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
Please do. I haven't had one in a while, so I need it.
All in the name of raising money for cancer.
Yeah.
Cancer
There you go.
benefits.
Max, you're the man, dude. Anything else you want to get out there before you wrap up?
How are we feeling? Are we done with the Bears? What are we doing? Are we?
They're cooked until next
That's
year.
what I said.
Yeah.
Watching the last game, I mean that honestly, the Hail Mary just took the wind out of everybody.
Yeah.
It's sad to see because there was a lot of hype around it. There was actually some positive going, and
Yeah.
last week it was like there was just nothing there. Like you could just feel it through the team too. It was sad.
It feels very dysfunctional there, and it's like
Yeah.
we got the body language experts are out in full force now, and it's like I want Eberflus fired yesterday, and it's just like I'm ready to just like have football be over. I want the football season over.
Pretty much, yeah.
College is.
Yeah.
College has been
There's
awesome.
hope with Caleb,
Yeah.
though.
Is DePaul going to be any good this year?
1-0. We won. Yeah,
Nice.
we only won 3 games last year, so we're on our way.
There we go.
More than that.
Yeah.
But Holtman's good though. I think Holtman's going to be big for the school. I think it's
Okay.
going to be a process, but I think it's starting to turn in the right direction.
Are you
Yeah.
the only DePaul guy in the league right now?
Paul Reed,
Okay. All right.
he's on the Pistons now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know. I don't know who that is. No disrespect to Paul Reed, but you gotta fly the DePaul flag pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Lewis flag.
Yeah, what are we doing for NIL, Max? We got anything cooking over there?
God, now you want to get my pockets too? Hey,
Hey,
I think I've tried to get in your pockets 3 times throughout this podcast. I swear, I'm just giving you shit.
he's
I'm not
actually a mooch
scumbag.
like that.
Oh, coming from this guy.
Have you thought about being like the what's his name, Buddy Garrity of Lewis, not DePaul Lewis, like just making them the
Buddy
greatest.
Buddy Garrity was the fundraiser for
Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night Lights. He's the booster.
Oh. Lewis, honestly, I love Lewis, but they haven't really called me back. I mean, they haven't really asked for anything or called
That's
me.
crazy. Like
So,
that.
They don't really treat me like an alum though, because I didn't graduate from
Right.
there. So like they're kind of big on that. Not really recognition unless you graduate from there. So
I think maybe they should make an exception.
Yeah, they probably should.
I don't know. It's going to be our 10-year anniversary from when I was there and we won a conference championship. So maybe they'll bring the squad back together.
Yeah.
I can make an appearance. That'd be awesome.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Over in Romeoville.
Yeah, we'll see. The Bears just have the mountain's just too steep to climb at this point. The back half of the schedule is just so brutal. So
Especially once we get in our division.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving is ruined. Thanksgiving's ruined. They have to play the Lions on Thanksgiving morning.
They're gonna lose that game by like 4 or 5 touchdowns, probably.
I feel like the Lions they could win that game without throwing the ball. Like that. Like
They
could just,
won a
yeah.
game by
Our
40
defense
the
is
other day
still
without
good.
throwing the ball.
But everybody's hurt. Billings is now out for the year. Brisker's still out. Gordon's still out.
Sweat's limited.
Sweat's banged up. Like everybody's. It's bad. It's bad.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's round and round we go.
Yeah. Well, thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
I thought the interview was over.
Do you want to talk politics before we get you out of here?
I'm going to
bet you-
pass on
yeah.
that.
all right. Thanks, Max.
Fair.
If you're around, stop by the office Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Monday?
Yeah, if you're around.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. I'll try to do that. I'll text you guys.
All right. Sounds good.
Sweet.
All righty.
Thanks, Max.
All right. Thanks, Max.
Appreciate it.
See you, dude. Hey, let's take another break because we want to talk about ChevyDriveChicago.com. Hey, Bears fans, your local Chevy dealers want to send you to see the Chicago Bears play Green Bay on November 17th. Entering is easy. Head to ChevyDriveChicago.com for your chance to win. And while you're there, check out the fleet. They got the latest Chevy lineup there. They got the Silverado, perfect for any tailgate.
The best.
Yeah, it's good stuff. That's gonna be a big one. Green Bay, November 17th. Go check that out, and you don't want to pay for tickets.
No,
so try to win them.
Win them.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the best way to do it.
Yep, your local Chevy dealers, the official truck partner of the Chicago Bears. Head to ChevyDriveChicago.com today to learn more, and try and win those tickets. That's going to be a nice little day for whoever.
Go there, hang out South Lot, have yourself a nice day.
Yeah, exactly. Pull up, check out the Chevys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, that Silverado looks nice.
I feel like you're intentionally leaving out the Blazer as a personal shot at me.
No,
the Blazer is...
The Silverado has been catching my eye every time I drive.
I know, they're sweet.
They really are.
They are.
So yeah, go check it out, ChevyDriveChicago.com.
We're in the interview portion of today's show. We're joined by White Sox legend, 2005 champion, Aaron Rowand. And Aaron is all decked out in his Bear swag. What were your takes on that game? Not just last night, but the last 2 weeks.
Oh, man. I would go ahead and say I think obviously Stevenson made a mistake. I mean, you can't get caught up in the crowd and stuff with the game on the line. You still got one more play to go. That being said, I mean, I understand everybody makes mistakes and does things that they realize after the fact they shouldn't have been doing. But that was a heartbreaker, obviously, for everybody. I didn't even look at any of the Chicago media during the course of the week because I knew he was just going to catch it. So, but yesterday, I mean, it was a rough go. I mean, there's a lot of injuries, though, obviously, in the secondary injuries up front on both lines. And we couldn't stop the run, and we couldn't keep them from getting to Caleb. So, I mean, that's a tough recipe to try to win games.
Are you firing anybody after that shit show?
I don't know that I'd fire anybody, but I'm just praying for some more help to come back. I mean, not having Sweat back on the defensive line was huge, obviously, because they're not going to run at him. And if they run the other way, they can double team guys. But, I mean, it's kind of a perfect storm. Connor's a good running back. He's a hard runner and tough to bring down. And when you have all the injuries, whether it be at the linebacker position or defensive line, without having your main guy in there too, that they want to run away from all the time, you see what a big difference that makes.
Yeah, it's everything compounded for me personally. I know, Ed, you sound like you're chomping at the bit to get something off your chest right now, but I'm just sick of bad teams in this city. And seeing you pop on the Zoom, like, you are the last good team that I've literally rooted for, like, since it's been 20 years now. 20 years. I'm a Bears fan, a White Sox fan, and a Northwestern fan, and I have not had one good team to root for. So thank you for 2005. We'll I guess kind of continue into there. As an athlete, how would you have approached everything that Stevenson did last week now? Because I had a 20-minute conversation with Brian Anderson on the phone last night, your old teammate. He says hello, by the way. And he said that, like, there was one time I think he was messing around with an iPod on the team plane and playing some, like, garbage that nobody else wanted to hear, and he wouldn't shut up or something. You came in, he said you literally slugged him in the shoulder and said, hey, cut the shit. That's not how we do things here, blah, blah, blah. And he, like, had an instant respect for you because of that. And is like, and to me, like, the Bears are kind of a rudderless ship right now. And how would you have approached it as a leader? Because, like, even when we were watching in 2005, it was crystal clear that your guys' clubhouse was a well-oiled machine. And with the Bears right now, it's not that.
Yeah, I mean, as somebody who is a clubhouse guy who tries to mesh teams together, there's a lot of character building that goes on. obviously he was going to catch hell from the coaching staff, especially once everybody saw what happened. But individually, my own personal take on it, which I'm probably sure somebody did, if not multiple people, is grab him and take him aside and just basically tell him that's not how we do shit here. That's same thing. It's just like either you come to play or you don't. And you don't deserve to wear that uniform if you're not going to show up every play, every down, practice, everything that you do at 100% with your best effort. And if you're not going to give it, then get the hell out of here.
Hey.
And then I would tell him that you owe everybody in that locker room an apology. And I'd parade his ass out in front of the entire fucking team and say, you owe everybody an apology, and this is your chance to make shit right.
Real quick, a little diversion. I was swearing that your background was a green screen. Do you just live in paradise now? What are you up to?
It's my house in San Clemente.
Yeah, not bad.
I have a house. Yeah.
Life looks
I figured
good.
I'd come out in the backyard and share a little bit of paradise with you guys.
Yeah, it's like 45 degrees here now. We're getting into the bad part of Chicago weather and seasons, but you guys, like, all right, so you have that beautiful view behind you right now. How much of that is due in part to 2005, you think?
A lot. You can go ahead and look around baseball, football, basketball, it doesn't matter. But when you do what you're supposed to do on the field or on the court, whatever, on the ice, you want to talk hockey, and you get done doing the numbers-wise what you're supposed to do, but you are a good person in the clubhouse, a good teammate, a good whatever. And when all those things come together and you win, then throughout the sport, you become labeled as a winner. Somebody who understands how to win and understands how to get everybody pulling the same end of the rope, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And when you get labeled as that, then good things come to you in future. And whether it be contracts or endorsements or whatever, but there's a lot of effort that goes in that. It's not about self-promotion. It's about winning. Look at Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter is a great example of a guy who not only did it on the field, off the field, but he was a captain. He was a winner, and he will be forever labeled as a winner his entire career. Or for the rest of his life, I mean.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you never saw a ton of Derek Jeter endorsement ads while he was playing, because all that to him was a distraction from what he was trying to do in the clubhouse, what he was trying to do on the field, his preparation, all those things. And there's a reason that he's in the position he's in right now, not just because he was great on the field, but he was great off too.
Mm-hmm. Now, what made that 2005 team so great in particular? And do you stay in touch with like Carl and Creedy and Juan and all those guys?
Oh yeah, that team is very close. I think the thing that made us great was, I think one, we had a great leader in Ozzy. Ozzy let us do our thing. And I think that we had a very, very close-knit group of guys. There wasn't one or two or three leaders in the clubhouse or guys that weren't afraid of saying what was on their mind. We had a team full of those guys. And, I mean, when you look at guys like Carl, guys like Jermaine, AJ, Joe, myself, Burley, El Duque, who... Mm-hmm. I mean, anybody who knows him knows he's going to speak his mind. We just had a gang of people. Uribe too, with the Latin guys, because most of the gringos couldn't understand what he was saying when he was speaking English. But he got his point across. He was just a great teammate too. Like, just everybody would jump in a foxhole for each other, and I don't know that I've ever been on a team that was as close as that group.
There's I asked you that, and you brought up Juan's Gringo English or trying to speak Gringo English, and
we call it Spanglish.
Yeah, his Spanglish, and there was back in 2015. It was the 10-year anniversary of the World Series at Sox Fest. You were doing like one of those symposium things where you're talking to the fan base and everything. And I've told this story on this show like 1,000 different times. And you got up there and you were talking about how tight knit that clubhouse was, and you said that on any given night, could be on the road, we could be at home. We were like 20 of us would be out to a steak dinner, and we had English speakers, obviously Spanish speakers, and then we had a couple of Japanese players on the team that year too, with Shingo and Tadahito. And you're like, it didn't matter that there was actual physical language barrier in the clubhouse. We all spoke the language of baseball, and that little story has resonated with me so much, because especially in the years following that 2015 Sox Fest, it hasn't been good. It hasn't been good since like you honestly got traded pretty much for Tommy. But you also have been working, well, you were working in like 2015 and 16 as like a roving and coordinator. Was there anything that stuck out to you then where you're like, man, this ain't right? Because it hasn't been right since that like basically that World Series team. I'll
ask it in a different way. You were obviously one of the faces of that team that won it. You then signed a nice contract to go to Philly, and then you end up
traded to Philly.
Traded to Philly. You end up in Philly. You end up with the Giants. Did you notice the way that those teams did their business and treated their players that was drastically better or different than the way the White Sox did? Because there was an article in The Athletic at the end of the year saying like they're flying a plane from 1984, and it's like everything was kind of cost cutting, low rent,
like Major League the movie type shit. Did
you guys feel that when you were with the White Sox, and was it like, holy shit, this is how other teams live when you got to these other
first class organizations?
Yeah.
Oh man, I love that you referenced the Major League. It's like 747 Milwaukee.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean we flew all the same airlines and had all the same things. You know, Jerry always made sure that the players were taken care of. And I don't know that it was any different, whether it be travel or accommodations or ballpark stuff. I don't think any of that was any different. Obviously I haven't flown with a team in recent years, but when I was the outfield and base running coordinator for the minor leagues for 4 or 5 years. And, the biggest difference I think that I see is that there is a sense of, entitlement with some of the younger players that come through. And I saw it happening when I was with the Giants. And I think the biggest thing that led to that probably was the fact that, like, when I came up, you had veteran guys on the team that weren't the everyday players anymore, but they were everyday players at some point in their career. Like, I'll give you an example. Jeff Conine was on the Phillies with us, and he didn't play every day. He probably played twice a week, still contributed, still there. But what he really contributed with was being a voice in the clubhouse, being somebody who, when you got called up to the big leagues, you're like, oh my goodness, like, shit, this is my teammate now. And if you stepped out of line, he was going to let you know. There was a mutual respect, but there's respect from the younger players' point of view that I need to act like a big leaguer while I'm here. Go perform like a big leaguer, but act like a big leaguer. And, there were guys with the White Sox that were there, guys that took me under their wing when I got called up. And you kind of learn the process. It's kind of a traditional hand-me-down type thing. Well, at some point, like, you weren't, as a minor leaguer, you were not going to be called up to the big leagues unless you were playing. They called you up to insert you in the lineup, and you were going to play. They didn't call you up to sit on the bench and be a fourth, fifth outfielder or backup infielder. Like, you were going to play. And at some point, ownership around baseball in general, it wasn't the White Sox or the Phillies or the Giants or anybody in particular. It was across the board. Owners decided they didn't want to pay a veteran guy $1 million, $1.5 million to be the backup fourth, fifth outfielder or backup infielder. They figured they could spend the major league minimum and just call minor league guys up to sit the bench and insert them when they need. So a lot of that veteran presence kind of left baseball. And I think that has had a major impact on, the respect and when you get called up to the big leagues, you're expected to act a certain way. You're expected to keep your mouth shut, listen to the people that know what they're talking about, and go out and play. And that tradition gets passed down generation to generation. And I think at some point when the owners decided to stop spending the money for the veteran guys, and they were all out within 2 years of baseball going on, there is none of that leadership anymore. So it's almost like it skipped a generation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's now about promoting yourself and I don't judge any of the players. I mean, it is what it is, and that's the way it is now. And sometimes watching it, it feels like that part of it has gotten, I wouldn't say more important than the game, but I would say it's about self-promotion to try to, whether it's endorsements or, getting a bigger contract for the next time, whatever it is. But gone is the player that goes out and plays and keeps his mouth shut and doesn't like being in front of the camera all the time.
I think that, so you say that it's a league-wide issue, and I would agree to a large extent, but I think that the Dodgers are a great example of what you just said. Obviously, they have all the financial advantages in the world, but if Jason Hayward, for instance, that's a consummate professional. Obviously, he fell off a cliff for a while, but he was in the Dodgers clubhouse over the last few years as a backup, kind of a steadying presence, and look what happened. Dodgers win the World Series. So I think there is absolutely something to that point.
Well, look at Chase Utley when he left Philly.
Mm-hmm.
He played for the first few years with the Dodgers, and as he got a little older, they kept him there. He played sporadically. Obviously, as you get older, you break down a little bit, but he was a huge presence in that clubhouse that I'm sure the people that were there still feel.
Oh, definitely. Those guys, I think baseball has gotten to a point. I think baseball as a whole stinks right now. I love the game of baseball, but Major League Baseball. But I think that baseball has just put way too much of a focus on the math and the numbers and not everything that you're talking about right now. I just scanned your Fangraphs page, for instance, and you had a handful of years where you did light it up for 5+ wins above replacement, all that garbage. But everything that you did on the field, not everything obviously, but a lot of what you did on the field wasn't measured in statistics, like smashing your face into a fucking fence and breaking your face into smithereens trying to catch a ball, for instance. I think that baseball's lost a lot of that, and it really sucks. I hate it.
It's really. Believe it or not, I played baseball more with a football mentality.
Yes, you did, and I loved it.
And a lot of the players, though, even though maybe they have that, they're getting told, whether it be the front office or training staff, they're paying them way too much money to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And it costs the organization quite a bit of money if they do get hurt. But it's a sport, so I never quite understood it, because if we're playing a sport, I'm playing to win. I ain't playing for money. I'm not playing for fame. I'm playing to win, and it's the competitive nature. And anybody that ever makes it to that level, they have that in them. But I do have to say, there's a lot of guys out there that probably would play the way that I got to play. I didn't know any other way, but they're getting told hey, you don't need to do that.
I mean, we literally watched it with the White Sox. The White Sox told Yoel Moncada not to run hard to first base. That was the height of insanity to me over the last handful of years, telling someone not to run hard to first base. So you grew up a Bears fan, obviously. You didn't grow up a White Sox fan, I'm assuming. Do you consider yourself a White Sox fan now?
Oh yeah, of course.
And
it's my home. It's where I grew up.
Right.
Spent 8 years there.
And are you disgusted with everything that's gone on over the last few years as much as the rest of the fan base? I'm sure you see and read people how pissed off we are as fans.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm disgusted. I'm disheartened. there's a lot of, and me, I coached there too. So, the way that I coached my minor league guys was the way that I played, the drills that I did with them, the emphasis on hitting cutoff men, on fielding. And one of the two of the glaring weaknesses that I watched in watching games this year was the inability to play catch in the outfield, route running, base running into outs, not taking extra bases when you need to. That kind of stuff, tears at me, because that's what some of the things that I prided myself on. And I have to say that the guys that I had while I was coaching the minor leagues there, they were good players, guys that would go do that. If you look at Louis, he's an absolute specimen out there in center. And when he first got signed, he was running into chain link fences, the way that I used to run into padded walls. And it was like, this guy is so good. If he doesn't kill himself, he's going to be great. But, there's other guys that you have to push. But I would say, in all, I would just say a little disheartened at the lack of attention to detail. You're not always going to score a ton of runs, and you're not always going to throw up 9 zeros. But you can control the things that you can't control, and that's playing catch. That's, nobody's going to be perfect, but catching the ball, running good routes, being smart on the base paths, because you can create runs in that sense. And I just felt like this is the first year that I saw it, like it was lacking. There wasn't a whole lot of attention to those important details.
Aaron, I want to get back into your playing career a little bit. Obviously, we talked about the face smash. Do you walk around and people still ask you about your face?
Yeah, I just tell them to look at me.
and going to that, you also had some other pretty gnarly injuries. You had the dirt bike accident. Obviously, you got hit in the face by a pitch. What was the worst in those 3 rankings in pain?
In pain, definitely my shoulder. My dirt bike accident, which was, that's just my mentality. I grew up riding dirt bikes, and I went out with family and a couple of my friends, and we were riding, and I was riding in a place that I wasn't familiar with, and I ended up going head first off a 25-foot cliff, and came 3 millimeters from slicing open my aorta.
Oof.
I was lucky to even be alive. And that rehab, after I had surgery to reconstruct my shoulder, that whole rehabilitation process was definitely probably the most painful experience of my life.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah.
Hey, let's take another break to talk about HelloFresh. The holiday season is just around the corner, and we're looking for ways to spend and stress less. HelloFresh makes mealtime nearly hassle-free with delicious home-delivered chef-crafted recipes that come together quick and are less expensive than takeout. Whether you're craving hearty comfort food, trying to please picky eaters, or looking for a calorie-smart meal plan, HelloFresh has all those options and more available on a rotating menu of 50 recipes to choose from every week. Step out of your recipe rut and make fun, flavorful. I almost said flavor. I can't believe we did that. HelloFresh.
That was crazy.
I apologize. HelloFresh. Flavorful meals without needing to hunt for specialty ingredients, and HelloFresh's pre-portioned ingredients mean less food waste.
Big on that. You don't want the food waste. And this is the time of year where HelloFresh is the absolute best because, like you said, the holidays are here, but the cold weather is here too. You get that delivered. It's waiting there right for you. You go upstairs. You don't have to, slog over the store. HelloFresh takes care of all that for you. It's a great experience.
So you can get 10 free meals at HelloFresh.com/freethemid. Applied across 7 boxes. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That's 10 free HelloFresh meals. Just go to HelloFresh.com/freethemid. All right, let's get back into it.
Now, obviously you had the World Series win in 2005. You say you're still a White Sox fan. What was the conversation like? What was your reaction upon hearing that you did get traded to the Phillies? Did it hurt?
Oh, yeah.
It crushed me. It crushed me.
Yeah, I was in tears. Kenny Williams was in tears. But I understood what he was trying to do. He and he said it to me. I kind of jinxed myself, just to backtrack. About a week before it happened, I was in Chicago with Joe Creedy, and we did the World Series DVD unveiling. And there were reporters there and everything else, and they were asking about the World Series and about, my time in Chicago. And I jinxed myself, and I said, I hope I end my career here. And then I got in the cab the next morning on the way to O'Hare, and the cab driver had ESPN 1000 on, and Bruce Levine came on and mentioned a rumor that I was going to be traded to Philly for Jim Tomei, and I just started laughing. I'm like, yeah, right. Like, who are you kidding? And he turned it off, and I flew home, and a week later, I got a phone call from Kenny saying that I got traded to Philly for Jim Tomei. And it hurt because, one, the White Sox were the only organization I ever knew. I grew up there. I got drafted there, minor leagues. All those guys I played through the minor leagues with, or a lot of those guys were on our World Series team. Burley, Garland, Creedy, I can go on. We all came up through the minor league system together. And so it was almost like I was leaving my family, but also the fact that we had just done what we did and win a first World Series in 88 years for the South Side of Chicago, for Chicago in general. And I was looking forward to trying to, re-up that the next season and see if we couldn't start something special. And when I heard it was crushing. I love Chicago. I love the city. It's my favorite city in the world. I've traveled the world, and Chicago is my favorite city in the world. And I mean, I am a little biased because I grew up a Bears fan, and then I played there. But even when I was playing there, it's just an amazing place. And so, like, I knew nothing about Philadelphia. Philadelphia grew on me, and the fans grew on me, and the people, the teammates and the organization, they were all great too. But in that moment when I got told that I got traded, it was scary, and it was crushing.
It really was.
Did you ever play back there again? Like, was there ever an interleague game where you returned to the South Side?
That's actually a good question. I don't remember that.
I played against the White Sox in interleague play, but I never got a chance to go back to Comiskey. So, in fact, one game I actually I got a base hit. I got a base hit in like the sixth inning, and then tie game in the bottom of the eighth inning. I came up with 2 outs and bases loaded, and it's still tied. And I hit a grand slam off Thornton against my old team, which was kind of weird. And then Jimmy came over after the game and gave me a hug, and he said, "I'm so happy for you right now."
If the league were formatted like it is currently, that White Sox team in 2006 was also awesome, and they choked at the end of the year. They lost like 5 in a row, including to Detroit, who I think snuck in there or whatever it was. But so we got the 20th anniversary coming up this winter, this January. The team has announced that Sox Fest is back. I'm assuming you're going to be out for the anniversary?
Probably. I haven't heard anything yet. This is the first I've heard of it, but probably, yeah.
I this is all assumption, but I've been on AJ's show a few times, and both him and I are a little pissed that because of what happened last year and the year before that, 200 lost seasons in a row, they're going to be kind of leeching off of something that happened 20 years ago. And White Sox fans are at the point where we're like, we love that 05 team, but like, stop using it to sell to us. You know what I mean? Is there anything that like rubs you the wrong way about that? Because I'm sure they're going to be hitting you up amongst all your teammates from that year.
Yeah, I don't know that. I of course can see why they would do that, because they need to sell tickets and they need to make money for the organization and everything else. But I guess I look at it more like, I think if you were to go ahead and ask all the fans and say, are you pissed that they're trying to leech off of this, or are you happy that that team's going to come back and you're going to get to see them and interact with them? I would venture to guess that more fans would probably say that they were happy that we came back. Yeah. So I see both sides of it, but I think more fans would be happy to see Frank and Carl and Joe
Mm-hmm.
and AJ and,
Definitely.
everybody.
That's kind
Yeah,
of
you guys are becoming
the 85 Bears.
a little bit like the 85 Bears, where
Well, yeah, if you told Konerko that, though, he would be like, no, not a chance.
Are you old enough to remember the 85 Bears?
Are you kidding? That was when I became a Bears fan the year before. And I don't know if I've told this story. I might have maybe once, but I was in like second grade, maybe third grade, and I had to do a book report. And, elementary school libraries are like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went looking for athletes that, and the whole thing was you had to write a little essay about a hero or somebody that inspires you. And for me, I always loved sports. So for me, I went straight to the sports section and I pulled out 2 books. And one of them was Walter Payton. And, I even forget the other one now because it didn't matter. I read both, and then I went with Walter Payton, and Walter Payton became my idol. And so I wrote the essay, and from that time on, I was a Bears fan, and then they won a couple years later, and it was sealed.
Rest is history.
You're done. Was there, White Sox fandom, White Sox fans I don't want to say they've taken some grief, but, Dave here always tries to battle some of the national New York Barstool people who say, oh, it's little brother, it's the South Side, nobody wants to play there. Being a player, what was your time like? And I assume it was fantastic. What would you say to people who would say, oh, that no one wants to play on the South Side?
I loved it. You know what? Everybody to a person, and I would say Konerko said it best. It's like, you know what we are? We're just the redheaded stepchild of the baseball community in Chicago. And we loved it. Mm-hmm. We loved playing with a chip on our shoulder. We loved playing the Crosstown series back then. Like now it's
not
whatever.
Fun anymore. Him and I were there this year and literally nobody was talking trash to each other. Like people were like patting me on the head like, oh, you guys stink. It's like I want someone to fucking hate me. And no one does it anymore.
I still hate you, Dave.
Yeah.
Well, you work next to me.
We played with a chip on our shoulder because of it. And we would, it was a daily thing. Like we would open a paper and it was like, hey, let's see, did they win or they lose? Or watch baseball tonight or whatever after. Because we wanted to outdo them. And it got serious during those series. We didn't like each other. Might have a friend on the other team, but when we were playing, we did not like each other. And obviously White Sox and Cubs fans didn't either. I remember going to Wrigley one year, and you guys might recognize this guy because he's the only one there, but you either had your White Sox fans or your Cubs fans. There's that one guy that had that hat that was in half and the jersey that was in half.
Fuck that guy.
And that guy wore it from everybody. And I'm like, wow, this is real.
Rightfully so.
Like
John Cusack.
Yeah. I used to wear every time we go into Wrigley and we'd be taking batting practice, the bleacher bums are out there just wearing us out. And I always wore a Bears shirt, cut-off shirt underneath my pullover for BP. So I went back and caught a ball, tossed it up to a White Sox fan, and all the Cubs fans started booing me, and I pulled my shirt up, and they all stopped. You're all right, Rowand. You're all right.
That's how it should be.
That's awesome.
It's one way or the other in baseball, but everybody's a Bears fan.
Do you have a Cub that you dislike the most?
A club?
A Cub.
A guy on the Cubs.
Oh, a Cub. Oh, man.
Let her rip, Aaron.
Yeah. God, I'm trying to think. You know what? And it's not for any reasons that I dislike the guy personally, but I could not stand Aramis Ramirez because that guy it didn't matter if there was a runner on base, he was driving that run in, and it was every time, and he'd hit 260 with like 130 ribbies every damn year, and I'm like, just don't let anybody on a base in front of him. He's not a big home run guy, but he picks his spots. He'll double in a guy from first, or if there's 2 outs and it's tied game in the 9th inning, base hit. Just a guarantee.
RBI
and that
machine.
Guy drove me insane because he always beat us.
Yeah.
Were you disappointed that you weren't there for the AJ?
I was just
Michael Barrett incident.
I was disappointed because that would have been a lot of fun.
That was in 06 it was?
That was 06.
I
yeah.
thought that was 05 for some reason because I was about to ask. It's been a minute since I've watched that clip, but like I said, I talked to BA last night, and it's funny because he's like, yo, when you're a rookie hitting a $180, you better be the first one tackling whoever. It doesn't matter if they were in the right or wrong. You better be the first one in that dog pile. And I was like, I wonder where Rowan was in that, but you were in Philly.
I wasn't there. I was probably a couple thousand miles away, but I would have been out there with him too.
Yeah.
I mean, the one guy that you don't want to be is the guy that doesn't leave the bench.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And don't be the guy in the back of the pack going, yeah.
You'd go with. We know you lead with your face. We know you lead with your face. You'd be right in there.
Evidence. Evidence. Of
I've got a really hard head. I do well in those kind of fights.
Respectfully, if you were in a football fight, you'd be the guy who takes your helmet off and starts swinging it around. I would guess.
No, I'd be the guy headbutting him with my helmet.
Exactly. Oh man. What was there like a guy who was the hardest goodbye when the trade went down?
Probably Joe.
Creedy.
Joe's one of my best friends and still is.
You ever hunt with him?
Well, yeah, I talk to him a lot still. And obviously AJ too. We were tight. All the three of us were really tight.
How tight were you with Mike Strubin?
Who?
Mike Strubin. You know the name.
No,
Bat Boy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's awesome.
He was a college buddy of mine.
We don't know all of their last names except for the last day of the year when you write him a check.
He was a college buddy of mine, and I discovered that it was move-in day my freshman year, and he lived across the hall of mine. And you know the show Cribs, the MTV show? Jermaine Dye was on it, and it was just randomly on. We had it while we were moving all our fucking couches and shit into our dorms, and he's like, I drove that car to pick up his wife at the airport. I drove that. I'm like, what are you talking? He's like, I'm the Sox Bat Boy. And fast forward a few months, you guys were cutting all his end of the year checks, and he got a call from his bank because Juan Uribe bounced $1,000 check to him.
Hey, and that's Juan being cheap too, by the way. Mikey was the best, man.
Yeah,
we had good times. We had a great group of guys, and that was all the way down to the Bat Boys, and EP throwers, and coaches, and everything.
Yeah. Well, all right then, Aaron. Anything else?
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Unless you want to talk more Bears, but I think we should do this show after a win.
Yeah, next. Well,
we'll call you next year.
Yeah, they might not be winning any divisional games, so.
Hey, we're gonna win some. We're gonna win some of these games.
Yeah.
I have faith.
We'll see.
You have more faith than we do on this side of the Zoom. But
and if you do come in for Sox Fest, we'd love to have you in the office.
Yeah, swing through the office. It's a fantasy factory. We'll
count me in.
Play some golf on the sim and all that. But thanks for joining the show. And I guess go White Sox, go Bears.
Yeah. Go Bears, go Sox.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron.
Appreciate it.
All right, see ya.